Hey, Bulls and Bears, JJ here on the BX4. It is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. Got quite a bit of news to get into today. We've got a dire warning coming out of the Fed. We have a flight to, or I should say more like an escape from fiat currency, pushing up the cost or pushing up the price of a certain investment. We're going to talk about that. And a lot of people are in big trouble when it comes to these utilities. Remember, the American people, the Main Street economy is on life support right now, while the never-ending unlimited stimulus continues to prop up the markets in the financial sector and Wall Street. So let's get into the news. First of all, please check your subscriptions, notifications, because people have been telling me that they've been not getting notified and being unsubscribed. You know, with these glitches going on, we're seeing a lot of glitches happening in a lot of places here lately, if you know what I mean. All right, let's get into some news here. All right, this is a chart of Bitcoin. It's over $15,000. Now, if you have been on this channel for at least a few years, you know that I bought the dip, and this was back in the mid 3000s, and I bought it and really didn't pay much attention because it's just something that I didn't put a lot of money into. Basically, it was just a fraction of a coin. So I really didn't give it a lot of thought. But now, hindsight's 2020, wishing I would have put a lot more into it because it was about a five-bagger, five times return. And I'm just going to hold it and see what happens. If it crashes, if they outlaw Bitcoin, no big deal. It's not a huge investment. But wish I would have put in more money. If you guys know what I mean, just let me know, because what I think is happening here, there's people that are escaping their, and when I say their, I mean their country's fiat currency. And just in recent history, we've seen some currencies get completely devalued, basically destroyed. The couple that come to mind is Zimbabwe, Venezuela. They saw hyperinflation with the destruction of their local currency there. Also, another one recently is Lebanon. Right, so these fiat currencies are dropping like flies. We think the dollar is going to be the last to fall, but eventually the dollar is going to fall. Now, if you look at the dollar index, it doesn't do much good because that's only comparing the dollar to a basket of other fiat currencies. Right, so it's almost like comparing the car in the junkyard, finding the best car in the junkyard, so to speak. And just a recent example of what's happening in Lebanon that I think ultimately is going to come here to the United States is the launching of digital currency amid economic turmoil. Now, in Lebanon, a lot of people put their money into crypto, and especially Bitcoin. Even though it wasn't meant for an investment for a lot of these people, they just want to get their dollar or their local currency into something besides just a paper currency that's being devalued and destroyed. So people are going to hard assets, metals, Bitcoin, cryptos. So when you start seeing destruction of your currency and continuous and in cases hyperinflation, the last place you want to be is sitting in dollars, right? And I just want to expand on this a little bit. I did see a few comments here recently because in every other video I'm telling people to buy silver. Now, that's not for everyone. If you don't have any money to invest, I don't recommend getting silver. If you have no money to invest, then it's impossible to buy silver. So obviously my silver recommendation is for people that have money to invest. But I did see a couple negative comments saying, hey, I don't have any money, why do you keep saying buying silver? Well, just because I say what I'm doing, or I tell you what I'm doing, doesn't mean it's going to fit everyone. That's why we always say, you hear YouTubers that talk about the financial system and economics, they say this is not investment advice. To receive legitimate investment advice, you need to go to a licensed financial professional and financial advisor. All right, so I know a lot of you this seems obvious, but a lot of people I see asking those types of questions. But if you don't have anything to invest, which is a lot of the country right now, I know, and I feel really bad for a lot of people. We're going to talk about people that can't even pay their utility bills. I'm sad to have to even report this, but this is the reality. I don't like to come on here and put out bad news or give bad information, but this is really what's going on. And if you just listen to the corporate media, if you listen to the Fed, they are rarely going to give you an accurate picture of the Main Street economy and what the average person, the average middle class American is actually going through right now. Now, up until now, the Fed remained pretty optimistic, but even the Fed now is starting to come out and sound the alarm. And we're going to talk about that here next, and then we'll talk about the utility bill situation here. But yeah, back to cryptos. I mean, this was a huge run up. I expect a bit of a pullback in cryptos. We ran up to over 15,000 very rapidly, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back down to this support area here between 10 and 12,000. We'll have to see. But there's people out there calling for everything from 20,000 to 50,000 to 100,000 Bitcoin. I've even heard calls of $1 million because as fiat currencies continue to collapse, ultimately the dollar collapse, people are looking for an escape. And just the fact that people around the world, as the currencies collapse and see this inflation, a lot of them want to put their local currency into something that can't just be continuously printed out of nothing. But again, this is not advice. Anything could happen. They could outlaw Bitcoin. The IRS could come in and tax the heck out of it, right? So you never know. But I just want to point to this chart because a lot of people are escaping their fiat funny money currency. This was tweeted out by @AACOexec. And he says we have 20,000 residents, and he's talking about his local county here, who have not paid their water bill. This time last year, the number was only 1,000. If your income has been impacted by the pandemic and you're struggling to pay your water and wastewater bills, we're here to help. All right, this is 20,000 people in one county alone. And look at this increase from last year, from 1,000 to 20,000. A lot of people are in a lot of trouble. And this is just one county. Multiply this by thousands and thousands of counties across the United States. Right? It's likely a similar story. The average U.S. citizen is in big, big trouble. All right, this utility situation was even reported out of the local Fox station here out of Maryland. Maryland companies could begin shutting off utility bills next week despite economic hardship. So this is what we've been talking about. How long can the assistance last? How long are people going to be able to go with free utilities, free rent, not having to pay rent, not having to pay their mortgages? Millions and millions and millions of people. Now, they've been trying to keep this economic situation, they've been trying to keep everybody looking at the stock market, looking at home prices, saying, great, wow, stocks are going up, home prices are going up, it must mean everybody's rich, right? Is there anyone left out there that's really that naive? You really think prices are going up in homes and stocks because people are rich? Right? No, this is people getting loans, markets propped up by stimulus, endless liquidity. The Fed came out and admitted endless liquidity many times. Now, speaking of the Fed, I'm typically one that really doesn't listen to a lot of what the Fed has to say because usually they've been wrong, and they've been proven wrong time and time again, being overly optimistic. But when the Fed comes out and says something negative, that should really be an eye-opener because normally the Fed, again, is over-optimistic. This is out of the Fed. The U.S. still faces possible default wave asset declines due to the pandemic. So now the Fed is sounding the alarm, which is something they have not done prior to previous economic downturns. Continues here, Reuters article, the United States may still face a wave of defaults and significant declines in asset prices because of the pandemic, in a stark reminder that the economy is far from being out of the woods. So is the Fed right in this case? Maybe it's going to be a rare situation where they're going to be right, or are they just doom and gloom, everything's fine? You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. What are you seeing? Are these utility bills just going to leave people in the dark? What's going to happen? It's a big mess, people. Let me know. Thanks for watching and support. Bye for now.